I tell you what, when I started this podcast, did not assume that it would be popular or that people would even listen to it too much, or I hope they had, or that they'd message me. But I'm now getting messages from you guys asking for help, and I've got them probably about 10 episodes released, and some of them were just really nice ones, but there's some who would say, "Hey, Khandie, please, 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 I'm desperate, help me." So let me read you exactly what landed in my inbox 2 days ago, because if you're listening and your stomach's just dropped, you are not alone. It basically called this episode, "I'm stuck, broke, and ready to quit." Khandie, I am stuck. I'm in a town where there's quite a few photographers. Some of them are great, some of them are a bit crap. I'm barely making ends meet. Money is really tight. I'm struggling to get clients or even my returning clients. I'm about to quit and go back to my shitty 9 to 5. What is happening and what can I do? I'm really I hope you can help me. I've listened to your podcast and I've got lots of help and I'm starting to see it, but I really, really need to kick up the ass. Okay. Um, Pause. Just stop, breathe, breathe, breathe. I was recently breathe because I think just telling somebody that you're really struggling is quite a hard thing to do. I have had that feeling myself. In fact, I'm going to tell you now. On the 5th of January this year, I was like, "What am I doing?" I had a wobble. Okay, and if you think about all the stuff that I do, and I was having a wobble, don't be surprised if wherever you are in journey, you're not also having a wobble because we're in the same place. Okay, we're all photographers trying to sell images. Maybe you've moved into a little bit of videography like I have, trying to just make ends meet with something that we love doing. So first thing, if you're listening to this and thinking, "That's me, congratulations, you are not failing." You're just at the exact point that most photographers get to. And I will say a lot of photographers in the beginning get to this when they realize it's not the fun hobby it is anymore and it isn't magically going to work just because you love it. So while this episode isn't going to pat you on the head, it's definitely not going to tell you to manifest something. It's definitely not going to tell you to just keep posting. I am going to do this in a very blunt, slap about the chops, but in a loving way, reality check. Okay. So let's set out the context. So what's actually happening here? We need to strip it back. You said you're in a town with a lot of photographers. Some are good, some are crap. You said, and you're barely making money. You're struggling to get clients and returning clients, and you're thinking about quitting. Okay, so this is what it tells me immediately. You are not being seen as the right option, just an option. Okay. Bear with me. I know this sounds like a load of mumbo jumbo talk, but I need to get this into you. You need to be seen as the right option. We're going to get onto that. Your work might be good, but maybe your business side isn't. And it's something I keep preaching about, which is why I did this whole podcast in the first place. Okay. You've been sold a lie about how photography careers actually work. And also you're probably undercharging and under positioning yourself. Okay. So I want you to hear this next bit very carefully. The problem is not that your town has too many photographers. I've done many sermons on this, many speeches on this. I've done sermons, many seminars. Okay, that's an excuse everyone grabs onto because it's comforting. I did it. I'm not here to slate you. I did it once. It means that you don't have to look at your pricing, your marketing, your confidence, or the way you talk about your work. If too many photographers was really an issue, then no one would get around booking weddings, no one would hire brand photographers, and no one would be running well paid studios. And yet they are in the same towns we are, sometimes even on the same street. I once had that problem. So let's talk about why this is really happening. Okay. There's a big lie that's going around. If I'm good enough, clients will come. And that's where most photographers screw up. You were taught if you get a camera and you learn a bit of settings and you take some pretty pictures, regardless of what they are, and build this portfolio and then post it online, somehow clients are meant to go, "Oh my God, I love them. I want to be with them. They're the photographer for me. Here's my bank card. Take all my money." Okay. I don't think it worked in 2015 to the 90s. And it certainly does not work now. Photography is no longer a hidden skill. Everybody knows a photographer. Everyone's cousin shoots weddings. Everyone's mate does it cheaper. How much does that irk you right now? "Oh, my friend does it cheaper." Then go to your friend. So if your entire business plan is "my photos are good," then yeah, you're going to struggle. Okay. I know, and I'm going to be very, I'm going to, I know some very okay photographers who do really well because they know how to do their business better. Okay. Clients don't buy talent. That sounds really hard. I want you to know, I don't care if you were the most incredible fine art photographer in the entire world, you will not book clients if they don't believe in your confidence, they don't see exactly what you do, you don't put them at ease, they don't trust you, and they need that feeling that you are the safest pair of hands in the room. I don't know if that's the correct term, but the safest person to be around the room, right? They want to buy into that. So if you're not communicating that to them, you are completely invisible. All right. So you need to think, what can I say to my clients that would make them feel more comfortable around me? What would bring them clarity in what I do? What would give them confidence in what I do? It's not just sharing the pictures. Maybe it's showing a bit more behind the scenes. Maybe it's talking to them in a way that they talk back to. Okay. You need to stop being invisible. And you might notice on my social media, every now and then, I talk very bluntly. I talk very bluntly often, but there's sometimes where I'm a little bit more blunt, or I'll just simply say, hey, you should hire me. I'm really good. You don't need to waste time looking. I'm right here. And I'm very blunt about it, and it gets me bookings, okay? But you know what I mean? Like, there is a question that not many people ask out loud. Do you actually want to run a business? But people are like, I don't like the business side of this. Well, then you probably don't want to be a business photographer or a photographer in business, shall we say? Because it's not about taking nice pictures or being creative or somehow seeking some validation online from some Facebook group or someone clicking like. It's actually about selling, follow up, talking about money, hearing no a lot, and marketing yourself even when you feel awkward. Because it is okay to say, actually, I don't want to do that. And that's not a failure. Going back to your 9 to 5 does not mean you gave up. It means you chose stability over constant emotional labor. Because I'll be honest, it's tough. I swear I've got more wrinkles since every January comes around, I get a new wrinkle because I'm like, this is the worst month ever. It's not really too bad for me, but it's always that month I panic. But what's important is you don't quit because you think you failed when you've never actually been taught how it works. Most photographers quit right before the pivot that would have changed everything. And it's like, oh yeah, I'll just stay and plug away. But if you keep doing the same things, you're going to mess it up, right? We need to get you to change. Okay. And it's a hard thing to do because it's business and it's going to be hard. Why is this happening to so many of you? I want to just pull away from this, or shall I say, zoom out. Let's go. We are, whether we like it or not, in a cost of living crisis. Okay. Marketing is so noisy right now. Everyone's trying to get every bit of money from everybody. Okay. Social media has convinced photographers they must post constantly, share everything, and build a personal brand. Yet nobody, except maybe me, on this lovely podcast, it's a great time to click on subscribe wherever you're listening to, and also go onto my YouTube and my Instagram because I do it all there as well. How to talk to clients, how to price sustainably, how to follow up without begging, and how to stand out without burning out. Now, photographers, they do the only thing they know. They discount, they over deliver, and they say yes to everything. And then they wonder why they're exhausted, get resentful, and probably broke. So here's the truth: if you're barely making money, your business model is what's broken, not you. Okay? Your business model. I want to break this down into some non negotiables. I don't want to talk about vibes, manifesting, hopes. I want to talk about actions. Okay? Real actions. If you've put somewhere that you're this is the thing I hate most, right? It's called vague positioning, vague as hell positioning. I capture moments, natural, candid photography, affordable packages. You sound like everybody else. Clients don't know why to choose you. They just know that you're cheaper, and cheaper clients can often be harder work. So you need a clear audience, a clear problem you solve, and a clear reason why you are the answer. Okay? Okay? I mean, I did talk at the photo and video show. In fact, I think if you go at no, it wasn't the photo video, it's the societies. If you go onto my YouTube, you can listen to the whole thing right there, and it talks about how to change your wording. Okay, go on there. It's on my YouTube. All right. I will also say you're likely to be undercharging and overworking. You probably charge less to compete. You add extras that seem worth it, and you hope volume will save you, and it won't. Low pricing attracts indecisive clients, boundary pushers for sure, and people who will ghost you. Raising prices doesn't fix everything, but staying low guarantees burnout, okay? And I'll do the one that I think stings the most is you're waiting to be picked. You post and you hope and you wait, but you're not reaching out. You're not following up to past clients. Do you send them out on a do you I mean, one of the biggest things I did was get a mailing list, and I mail my clients. I say, "Hey, I've got this happening. Are you interested? Come along." I like to reach out to them. I network intentionally. I go to one networking event a month if I can, and it's because there's lots of business there and I have got business from it. But I also go out into cafes, drink at local cafes, do my work editing in local cafes. And the reason I do that is because I want people to see I'm a photographer. And those little things, right? It shows that I'm a photographer. I also like this weekend, well, it'll be by the time I've done this episode, it will long gone. I do photo walks, right? I do them for free. It's an hour and a half out of my day. And it's a little intensive because I have to like obviously set it up, teach while I'm doing it. And I offer them freely. One, it's networking and it shows me teaching and giving back. It's really popular. And that's a good thing. Now, I know not everyone has that privilege to be able to spend that time, but I see that for me as my marketing because I'm giving something away to set myself up as somebody who knows what they're on about. I put myself in a position of authority. Okay. You don't have to do that, but think of it. I teach photographers, I mentor photographers. So what that shows to other photographers, hey, come and get mentored by me. But secondly, I have something to post to clients and show clients, look, I give back to this community. I position myself in a certain way. Okay. So you need to start reaching out and you need to talk about what you do with confidence. Visibility isn't passive anymore. People don't know what you do or who it's for, then they probably won't be hiring you. Okay. So when I do my branding images, I'll say to people, hey, you need images that sell while you work on your business. So this is why you book me. My social media analytics background helps me to work within your business plan, your marketing plan, but also keep on brand and ethos for you to ensure those images work for you. Okay. I tell people, one, I'm educated because I've got the social media analytical background, but also I understand that the images need to sell while you are busy working on the business. Okay. So people book me because they're like, okay, we're not going to get a standard picture of me holding a coffee cup looking off from a laptop. Now, some clients do want that and I do offer it, but I also offer a lot more where I show personality, multiple. One of my clients who I shot 2 years ago is still using those images today. And I know this is really weird. Business images, I think, should be updated every 6 months to I wouldn't use them. You can have some evergreen ones, but I think as your business is you should update your images quite regularly. So I do a branding shoot every quarter, but for me, but every 6 months, I think you should look at doing, even if it's just a new headshot or something. My client loves them so much, we're barely doing headshots for him because like these are just brilliant. I love them, right? And I've got clients going back 5 years who are still using them. They come back to me, but they still use some of the old ones as well as the new ones because these still work for me. So I don't know if you think that's because, oh, well, you don't need to do any more or they're poor, but they are still booking sessions and also still using the old images as well. So for me, I keep getting them as repeat clients because they get such value out of what I do. Okay. I want you, my honest answer to your question though. This is happening because, and I know it sounds really weird, this is happening because photography has changed and you haven't been given the tools to change with it. You are not behind and you're certainly not untalented and you are not stupid for thinking about quitting. But before you walk away, I want to ask, have I actually treated this like a business? Have I sat there and done a business plan, right? Because I'm going to tell you now, here at my desk where I'm recording this podcast, up on the walls around me is my marketing plan for this year, right? With spaces where I can add other things. Next to it is my business plan, where I want to go in my business, what my prices are going to be, because they kind of match into it. Have you even done that? Have you created a business, even a basic business plan that I can do I do this in my mentoring sessions about business plans. I do this in my do marketing sessions in my mentoring sessions. Like you can just go, I've got a business now, I've got a logo. And this is another thing that bugs me. Photographers will spend more time on a logo than they will on their contracts, on their marketing plan, or their business plan. How can you make a business if you don't have a plan? The idea that you're just going to put some pretty pictures out, create a Facebook page, create a little website and go, right, I'm ready to go on my business now. That's not how this works. And that's why so many people fail in this. They go back and they go, well, it didn't work for me. Well, you didn't actually treat it like a business. You treated it like a hobby and a vanity project. If you are going to take money from people, you are providing a service. That service needs to be done legally and it needs to be done methodically. And you have repercussions if you F this up. So we need you to treat it like a business. It is not a hobby. It might have started out as a hobby, but it is not a hobby now. Okay. Have you learned how to sell yourself, not just your work? People laugh at me because I get a little bit of abuse occasionally from other photographers because I'm very open about who I am, the way I dress, the way I look, and I show a lot of my personality and the nuances of being who I am. Like I did the reel recently about the weird stuff I've been asked as a photographer, and they're like, "Oh my god, how can you talk about that? It might upset clients." Oh no, the clients who like me like those stories. I know who my client is. The one that I find really funny though is that I will get booked off those because people think they're funny and how chill I am about it all. Okay. I am 100% who I am online as who you meet in person when I'm doing my seminars. Very approachable, very funny in my own opinion, and very passionate about what I do. Okay. So when people come to my sessions, they absolutely love it. One of the biggest feedbacks I get from my clients is you made me feel like I was hanging out with friends. You empowered me. One client wrote recently, let me pull it up here. Let me just go to my email. They go, Khandie, thank you so much for our session. I honestly had so much fun. When you were jumping up and down when you got the shot, I knew straight away you were the photographer for me. You matched my energy so well. Thank you for making me feel like the person who I've always wanted to feel in a session. There you go. Okay. And that's just me saying that. Okay. So I don't just sell my work, I sell myself. That sounds dodgy, though, doesn't it? But the idea is you're not just having a photo shoot. It's not a sterile thing. It's a very personal, very exposing thing because to be photographed is quite, you feel quite exposed, even if you're not undressed, depending on what you shoot. It can be quite having a camera shoved in your face, which is why a lot of us don't like being photographed. So I try to make it chill and I chat. And you can see that in my reviews. People say that about me. I also position myself as a solution to issues, okay? Well, like I said, with my business photography and when it comes to weddings, you don't want a photographer who's going to dominate the day. You want someone who is going to slip seamlessly into your day and enjoy all the things you've organized and have the wedding you want, and it will be captured to show that. Yeah. Okay, that doesn't mean I'm not the photographer that hasn't in the past picked up a Mackie D's on the way for the groom because he's a bit hungover or stitched someone back into their dress because I happen to have a sewing kit in my bag. Okay, but I position myself as a solution. And if you can say, I have not done that, then don't quit photography just yet. I want you to really think about what I'm saying in this podcast because it is very fixable. Okay, some of them will take time, but it is very fixable. Okay, so I'm gonna do something for you to do. Here's what I would do in the next 30 days, going back to your original email, if it is you. I would audit your brand. Would a stranger know exactly who you're for when they look at what you do? Okay. Would they know when they go, that's not the person for me, or that's the person for me? But remember, you are not here for everybody. It's got to be very specific who you're for. Would they look at it and go, I know for a fact that this isn't the person who should be photographing me? I would also pick one audience, not everyone with a budget, not that. One very specific audience, who they are, what they do, and what they're looking for. Just pick that one audience. I know you might shoot 90 other different packages or whatever. Just pick one. And you're going to focus entirely on that one person for the next 30 days, okay? You're also going to fix your pricing. And I go on about this. I've got numerous YouTube videos on this. So please go find Khandie Photography on YouTube. Go find it on my Instagram because I talk about it there. I also do podcast episodes going back on here. So subscribe now where I talk about pricing, sustainability, okay? It is not picking a number out the air. You need to know exactly how much you pay out to be who you are as a photographer right now. And then you have to make a profit on top of that. Do you understand? You must legally make a profit. The HMRC are really cracking down on this. And I know with the Make Tax Digital change they're doing, this seems to be like this is where they're looking into it. Please, please, please spend some time looking at your pricing. Okay. Look at how much. I have a note here. In fact, they can hear me ruffling it. There we go. It says how much I must make every month to have the living situation I have. Okay. That's how much I do it. So some months I'll make more. Some months I'll make considerably more. On average, I need to make this amount a month. Yeah. And I have that lit as my focus. Okay. It might not work for you, but for me, it is. And it's a little bit more than I need to make so that I have that little bit for my savings. All right. I like to put a little bit more into my savings than I have in my business plan. I don't know why, but it's just something I always do. But that's another thing. Learn how to talk about money. Be upfront. Don't be apologetic for your prices. Okay. Your prices are your prices. Okay. Please don't try and scrape to the bottom when a client goes, oh, that's too expensive. Go, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not within your budget. Thank you for inquiring with me. I don't chase the client that doesn't acknowledge that I am a luxury product. Okay. It doesn't matter. Like that, use this analogy quite a lot. There's a guy down the road from here from where my studio is. He used to charge 30 quid for 50 images on a CD. And one client asked me if I would match it. I said no. CDs are dated, and my images are worth more than 50p. And she looked at me at what? And I said, because once you've taken the price of the CD out, tax and national insurance, it's not even £1 an image. I think the fact that I can buy a chocolate bar for £1 now, because unless it's a Freddo, which is probably what 99p at this rate. No, I'm not doing it. And she looked at me and she was like, oh, right. I said, because all of this costs. And she was like, oh, yeah, yeah. Right. She didn't book me straight away. She came back 4 months later after having that guy's photo shoot. And she said, you were right. I should have come here. Now, it doesn't always happen like that. I don't want to like toot my own horn and say that happens all the time. But I know my prices. I'm very confident in my prices. And I just say that's the cost. Okay. When someone says to me, oh, no, your frame products are really expensive. Yeah, they're hand built and custom. They're not mass produced for you. They print it just for you, frame it for you. There's literally hands on this. It's not a machine that puts it all in. There's somebody by hand putting this all in, okay? Because you want a bespoke product, it has to be bespoke, and that incurs costs. Like I even use this sometimes use the analogy. You can go to Tesco's and get a sandwich. and it maybe cost you 3, 4 quid, right? Sometimes a little bit more, I know. But you can go to Subway, get a sandwich that's more bespoke, how you want, and it costs a little bit more, doesn't it? Okay, they might add in, oh, you can get a drinks deal for this amount and you get this, right? But ultimately, they're still sandwiches. They're just a different market. Okay. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but we recognize if we can customize it, it's going to cost us a little bit more money. Same as we know that if we go to a cafe and sit down, it's going to cost us a little bit more money because we're having the ability to sit in a nice surrounding. Yes. So for me, if cafes are confident, why can't I be confident? I am not just handing over a piece of paper with its from my printer under my desk. It's actually printed on professional quality paper with professional review and people looking at it. So it costs a little bit more. So I'm very confident in my prices. The next one I think is very difficult because I think it's like a British thing. We're not so much into this. Stop hiding. Email, speak up, and follow up. Okay. Right back to clients. Maybe it's been 6 months since they had a headshot and they've signed up to get emails from you. Because I use Studio Ninja. I talk about that a lot, but it's really easy for me to use and I do endorse it. Please check it out. There is a discount code. I can probably put it in the let me put it in the description of this video below. I'm not saying it's all for everybody, but it's something I'm able to go in and see. They've signed up for my newsletters. I can then email them and say, hey, it's been 6 months since your last headshot. Are you looking to get a new one? It's really, and tell them why it's so important and say, hey, if you book now, you can get an additional image because they've already invested in me. So the idea is I do a little sweetener. One extra image isn't going to cost me much, but I'm also not putting the money down. Okay. If you do book in the next month as a thank you for rebooking, I'll give you that extra image. So it almost brings brand loyalty. Yeah. And a little bit of a perk. Yeah. Okay, and I also want you to just sort of go, okay, if after doing all that, after the 30 days, and you've really done it, you haven't like gone about it subtly, you've done it with intention, as they say, and you still want that 9 to 5, go. Take it with pride. There is absolutely no freaking shame. And go, do you know what? I like being a photographer. I just don't like running a business. I want stability. 100% go do it. In this financial climate, particularly big decisions with big bravery should be applauded. Go do it. Okay. Oh, I've really gone off on this one, haven't I? If this episode's hit you in the chest, I want to know. You are not broken, but you're definitely at a crossroad. If you want help untangling this, mentoring, strategy, clarity, you know where to find me. And if you have ever thought, is it just me? Send me your question because I promise you it is not just you. And I will hear from you soon, I hope. Until then, I will stop assaulting your eardrums unless you're going to go listen to more of my episodes. Take care of you. And I am so proud that you are even reaching out to me. Thank you so much.